Welcome to the Flash Sound and Buttons tutorial. The first thing that you need to do for this assignment is go to the assignment Flash Sounds and Buttons, and there are 6 files here. A JPEG, a movie, a audio MP3 file, and then a JPEG, a movie, and an audio MP3 file for 2 different bands. So you need to click on these and download them. Depending on what browser you're using will depend on how it downloads. Just make sure you get these downloaded and saved. And then this is important. Things will not work correctly if you don't do this, is that you need to save these into a folder all by themselves. So I've made a folder called Flash Sound. And I have a little extra in here because I've been teaching it. But if you look, I've got the LO JPEG, LO Mr. Blue Sky for the video and the audio. And then if I come farther down, I have my U2 files right here as well. You also will need to create a Flash file that will then be saved in this folder as well. So once those 6 files have been downloaded, you can go ahead and open up Flash and start a new ActionScript 3.0 file. And the very first thing you want to do is just go File, Save As. And if you look, I'm in my Flash Sound file. So if you need to navigate, here it is, there's my Flash Sound. And I can't see them, but all my audio files are in here. So I'll just go ahead and call this Flash Sound Tutorial. You can name yours just Flash Sound is fine. And go ahead and click Save. Okay, so make sure it is Flash Sound Tutorial. And when I bring up this folder, there it is. Okay, so this needs to be, it has to be for this to work, in the same folder. Alright, let's get started. First thing you're going to do is you're going to set your stage color to gray. So right here in Properties, we've got Stage. I'm going to go ahead and set it to gray. Then I'm going to need 4 layers total, so I'm going to go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to name them Splash, meaning kind of the opening scene. This one's going to be called LO Video. Oops, Video. Then we're having U2 Video, and then the top layer is going to be Actions. Okay, so I've got 4 layers here. I'm going to go up now to File, Import, to Library, and I'm going to import these 2 images. So if I hold down Control, it will allow me to select both of them, and I can go ahead and say Open. If I look in my library, there they are, LO and U2. Okay, the next thing you're going to do is we need 3 keyframes on these bottom 3 layers. So I'm going to go to frame 2 and do a click and a drag in one motion so that these 3 are selected. Right click and insert a keyframe. And they are blank keyframes because we haven't added anything. So then I'll do it one more time, click and drag, insert keyframe. So right click to get that. So if I look, these 3 layers all have keyframes, 3 of them on each layer. And they are all blank right now. It means they're hollow. There's no content at this point. That's what I'm going to do next. So I don't want to accidentally add this somewhere I shouldn't, so I'm going to lock Actions. I'm going to lock U2 and LO and just leave the Splash layer unlocked. Then using my Text tool, if I look at my properties, I've made mine kind of large. You can choose a different font and a color. You just want it to be a color that's going to contrast with that dark gray. So then I'm going to go ahead and type out LO, and then click again to type U2. And then I will use my arrow, my move arrow, to kind of reposition them. Keep it towards the top because we're going to be putting pictures and buttons below them. But remember, if I move it around, well, it's not doing it. Usually it'll give me a little line to tell me they're lined up, but it's not showing up. But those look pretty lined up. And I'll move them around as I need to. So next I'll go to my library and I've got my LO picture, so I'll click and drag that underneath LO, and then I have U2. Now I can move those, position them Maybe center my text over them, you know, make it look good. Okay, so now they're nicely lined up. Then also in visually, we're going to add some buttons. So if I go up to Window, and we're going to do pre-made buttons instead of making our own. So Window menu, come down to Components, and then I'm going to go ahead and there's Button. So if I click and drag that out, and then click and drag one more out, make sure that you open the User Interface folder if you're not seeing those. So now I have them, so I will position them again so that they, you know, are looking nice, looking kind of centered. Now right now they say label, which isn't what we want, so I'll go to Properties, choose there's label, and then in Properties you'll see it says label. So I'm going to change that to say video. And then I also need to give it an instance name. So back up here in Properties it says instance name, and this is the one that was under U2, so I'll call it U2_video. Remember, with instance names, no spaces. So now I'll go to the other button, the one that's underneath LO, and I'll change the label so that it says video. And I will then change the instance name so that it says LO_video. Alright, now this is getting set up. It looks good. Next up we'll do code, and that will be in the next video. So move on to that one.